Story: The Garden's Silent Promise.
The rain against the window pane didn't sound like rain anymore. To me, for the last 365 days, it sounded like static, like the white noise of a television set left on in an empty room after the broadcast has ended. I sat in the wingback chair, the velvet fabric worn smooth under my fingertips. It was Theodore's chair. I hadn't moved it an inch since the police officer knocked on the door that Tuesday evening. The indentation of his weight was still there, or perhaps I imagined it, desperate to preserve even the ghost of his gravity in this house. My name is Genevieve, and exactly 1 year ago, my life didn't just change, it shattered into a million jagged shards of glass that I was still walking over, barefoot, every single morning. The grandfather clock in the hallway chimed. 1, 2, 3. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the exact time the other car had crossed the center line, the exact time my phone had been silent, unaware that my world was ending. I looked at my reflection in the darkened window. At 42, I used to feel vibrant, alive. Now, the woman staring back looked like a faded watercolor painting left out in the sun too long. My hair, once a rich chestnut, was pulled back in a severe, messy bun, and the scar, the thin, pale line running from my temple down to my jawline, was the only souvenir I had kept from the crash that took him and spared me. Why? The question was a constant hum in my brain. Why was I the one who walked away with a limp and a scar, while Theodore, the man who filled every room with laughter, was put in a box? The silence was broken by the shrill, demanding ring of the telephone. I knew who it was before I even looked at the screen. It was Vanessa, my sister-in-law, Theodore's sister. I let it ring 3 times, 4. On the 5th ring, the guilt, that heavy, suffocating blanket I wore constantly, forced my hand. I picked up the receiver. Genevieve? Her voice was sharp, clipped, like shears snapping shut. Genevieve, are you there? I know you're there. I'm here, Vanessa, I whispered, my voice raspy from disuse. Happy isn't the word, obviously, she said, her tone shifting to that cloying, performative sympathy that made my stomach churn. But it is the day. I assume you're ready? Ready? For the memorial dinner, Genevieve. Good heavens, don't tell me you forgot. I told you last week. Mother is coming, the cousins are coming. We need to honor him properly, not wallow in the dark like you've been doing. I closed my eyes. Vanessa, I can't. Not today. I just want to be here, in our home. It's not just your home anymore, is it? She snapped, losing the facade. Look, I'll be there in an hour to help you get dressed. Wear something other than that gray cardigan, please, for Theo's sake. The line went dead. I sat there, the receiver still in my hand, the dial tone buzzing like an angry insect. Vanessa meant well, or so everyone told me. She's grieving too, they said, but her grief was loud, angry, and controlling. Mine was quiet, drowning, and paralyzed. I stood up, my left leg stiff. The doctors said the physical injury had healed months ago. The limp was psychosomatic, a physical manifestation of my reluctance to move forward. I walked to the kitchen, the hardwood floor creaking under my feet. The house was a sprawling Victorian estate that Theodore and I had bought 5 years ago. It was supposed to be our forever home. We were going to fill the bedrooms with children. We were going to host Christmas parties. Now it was just me and 3,000 square feet of dust and memories. I looked out the kitchen window into the backyard. It was a disaster. When Theodore was alive, the garden was his pride. He wasn't a gardener by trade, he was an architect, but he loved structure and nature. He had planted roses, hydrangeas, sculpted hedges. Now, the hedges were wild beasts, untamed and overgrown. Weeds choked the roses, the grass was knee-high. It looked like the castle in Sleeping Beauty after the 100-year curse fell. It was a perfect reflection of my soul. "I can't let her in," I said aloud to the empty room. "I can't let Vanessa come here and judge me." Panic began to rise in my chest, a cold tide. If she came, she would start talking about selling the house again. "It's too big for you, Genevieve. You're drowning in bills, Genevieve. Let me take over the estate, Genevieve." I needed air. I unlocked the back door and stepped out onto the rotting wooden deck. The air was heavy with moisture, the scent of wet earth and decaying leaves hitting me instantly. It wasn't unpleasant, it smelled real. I limped down the steps, the wet grass soaking the hem of my pajamas. I walked past the dead fountain, past the overgrown trellis where the wisteria had strangled itself. I found myself at the very back of the property, near the old stone wall. There, half buried in mud and ivy, was a blue notebook. I frowned, crouching down. My knee popped, a sharp pain, but I ignored it. I pulled the notebook free. It was swollen with water, the pages crinkled. It was Theodore's sketching pad. He must have left it out here. When? 2 days before the accident? My hands trembled as I peeled the wet pages apart. Most of the ink had run into blue Rorschach tests, unintelligible blurs. But the last page had been done in pencil. It was a sketch, a drawing of a gazebo, not just any gazebo, but an intricate, glass-walled sanctuary with a curved roof surrounded by a specific arrangement of white lilies and lavender. Underneath, in his blocky architectural print, he had written, "For Genevieve, a place to breathe, anniversary gift." I stared at the paper until my eyes burned. He was planning this. He was going to build me a sanctuary, a place to breathe. I looked around at the devastation of the garden, the chaos, the ugliness. "A place to breathe," I whispered. A car door slammed in the driveway out front. Vanessa. My heart hammered against my ribs. I couldn't face her. Not now. Not with this discovery in my hands. I clutched the wet notebook to my chest like a shield. I heard the front door open. She still had the key. I was too weak to ask for back. "Genevieve! Genevieve, where are you?" Her voice echoed through the house. I didn't answer. I stayed crouched in the tall grass, hidden by the overgrown lilac bushes. I was hiding in my own garden like a frightened child. God, this place smells like a crypt. I heard her voice drift through the open kitchen window, then the click of heels on the floorboards. I stayed there for an hour. I waited until I heard her huff in frustration, call my name one last time, and then leave, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the panes. Only when the sound of her engine faded did I stand up. I looked at the sketch again. Then I looked at the jungle surrounding me. For the first time in a year, I felt something other than sorrow. I felt a spark of anger. Not at Theodore, not at the driver of the other car, but at the weeds, at the neglect, at the fact that his last gift to me was buried under a year of my own apathy. I limped to the shed. The door was rusted shut, but I yanked it open with a grunt of effort that surprised me. Inside, the tools were covered in cobwebs. I grabbed a pair of rusty shears. I walked back to the lilac bush where I had hidden. Snip. The sound was loud in the silence. Snip. I cut a dead branch, then another, then another. I worked until my hands blistered. I worked until the sun went down and the moon rose, casting long, ghostly shadows across the lawn. I worked until I was covered in mud, sweat, and tears. I didn't go to the memorial dinner. I cleared a 3-foot patch of ground around where the gazebo was supposed to be. That night, for the first time in 365 days, I slept without taking a sleeping pill. The next morning, the reality of what I had started set in. I stood on the deck with a mug of black coffee, staring at the pathetic little patch I had cleared. It was nothing, a drop in the ocean. The garden was an acre of chaos. I couldn't do this alone. My leg was throbbing so badly I had to lean against the railing. I needed help, but not Vanessa's help. I went inside and opened my laptop. I didn't want a big landscaping company that would come in with bulldozers and strip everything bare. I wanted someone who understood restoration. I found a small ad on a local community board. No logo, just text. Landscape architect and botanist. Specializing in difficult spaces and native restoration. Ask for Julian. I dialed the number. Hello? The voice was deep, calm, gravelly. Hello, is this Julian? Speaking. My name is Genevieve. I have a situation. My garden, it's gone. Gone? He paused. Nature never really goes, ma'am. It just takes over. Where are you located? He arrived 2 hours later in a battered green truck that looked as old as my house. Julian was not what I expected. I expected a young college student or a rugged contractor. Julian was a man in his late 50s, perhaps 60. He was tall, thin but wiry, with silver hair tied back in a short ponytail. He wore worn denim overalls and a flannel shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing arms that looked like twisted oak branches, strong and weathered. He didn't smile when he saw me. He didn't look at my scar with that polite, flinching curiosity most people did. He looked me in the eye, gave a curt nod, and then looked past me at the garden. He walked into the tall grass without saying a word. I limped after him. He touched the bark of the dying maple tree. He crumbled a dry leaf between his fingers and smelled it. He crouched down and dug his thumb into the soil. The soil is sour, he said softly. Neglect does that. It turns acidic. Can it be saved? I asked, feeling foolishly desperate. Julian stood up and looked at me. His eyes were a startling, clear gray. Everything can be saved, Genevieve, if you have the patience for it. The question is, do you want to cover it up with sod, or do you want to heal it? Heal it, I said. My husband, he wanted to build something here before he died. I showed him the wet, ruined sketch of the gazebo. Julian took the paper gently. He studied the pencil lines for a long time. He had a good eye, Julian said. This structure, it requires a specific foundation. And these plants, lavender, white lilies, foxglove, this is a healing garden, a sensory garden. Can you build it? I can, Julian said, but I work alone, and I take my time. I don't use heavy machinery if I can avoid it. It disturbs the roots. That's fine, I said. I have nowhere to go. The work began the next day. Julian became a fixture in my life, though we barely spoke for the first 2 weeks. He arrived at 7 a.m. sharp. He worked with a rhythmic, meditative pace. The sound of his shovel hitting the earth became my new clock. I watched him from the window at first, but the house felt too big, too empty. Eventually, I started bringing him coffee. Black, 2 sugars, he said the first time, accepting the mug with dirty hands. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet. We're just clearing the rot. One afternoon, about 3 weeks in, I found myself sitting on the deck steps, watching him prune the hydrangeas. Why do you do this? I asked. You seem overqualified for weeding. Julian paused, wiping his brow with a red handkerchief. I used to be a professor, botany. What happened? He looked at the shears in his hand. Life. My wife, Eleanor, she got sick, Alzheimer's, early onset. It took 10 years. By the end, she didn't know me, but she knew the smell of rosemary. She knew the feel of lamb's ear leaves. The garden was the only place we could still speak the same language. I felt a lump in my throat. "I'm so sorry." "She passed 4 years ago," Julian said simply. "I couldn't go back to the classroom. Theory didn't matter anymore. Only the dirt mattered. The dirt is honest. You put in care, something grows. You neglect it, it dies. It doesn't lie to you." "I feel like I've been lying to myself," I confessed, the words spilling out before I could stop them. "Everyone tells me to move on, to get over it. It's been a year." Julian looked at me intensely. "Grief isn't a linear line, Genevieve. It's a spiral. You circle back to the pain, but hopefully each time you're a little higher up, a little stronger. Don't let anyone tell you how to mourn." It was the first time since the accident that I felt understood. The peace didn't last. A week later, a silver Mercedes crunched up the driveway. Vanessa. I was in the garden, actually in the garden, wearing gardening gloves and an old oversized shirt of Theodore's. I was helping Julian clear the space for the gazebo foundation. My face was smudged with dirt. I felt useful. Vanessa stepped out of the car looking immaculate in a cream-colored suit. She scanned the scene, the piles of brush, the dug-up earth, Julian in his overalls, and me in my rags. "Good Lord," she breathed, walking towards us. "Genevieve, what on earth is happening here?" "I'm gardening, Vanessa," I said, standing up. My leg ached less today. "Gardening? You look like a homeless person. And who is this?" She gestured at Julian with a manicured hand. "This is Julian, my landscape architect." "Architect?" Vanessa laughed, a harsh, brittle sound. "He looks like a day laborer." "Genevieve, we need to talk. Inside. Now." I looked at Julian. He gave me a barely perceptible nod of encouragement. I followed Vanessa into the kitchen. She didn't sit down. She paced. "I've been trying to call you for weeks," she said. "You missed the memorial. Mother was devastated. It was incredibly selfish, Genevieve." "I wasn't up to it." "You're never up to it. That's the problem." She spun around. "Look, I'm done being the nice sister-in-law. I've spoken to a lawyer." My blood ran cold. "A lawyer? Why?" "Because you are clearly incompetent," she spat. "Look at you. You're spending Theo's money on dirt. You're letting this house rot while you play in the mud with some old man. I am petitioning for conservatorship over Theo's estate, including this house." "You can't do that," I whispered. "I can. I have evidence of your instability, the depression, the isolation, the refusal to seek therapy. And now hiring strangers to dig holes in the yard? It's erratic behavior, Genevieve." She pulled a folder from her bag and slammed it on the table. "These are the papers. You can sign them voluntarily, granting me power of attorney to manage the finances and the sale of the house. Or we can go to court, where I will drag out every single medical record from your accident and prove you are unfit." "This is my home," I said, my voice shaking. "Theo left it to me." "Theo isn't here," she screamed. The sound echoed off the walls. "Theo is dead, and you're just a ghost haunting his house. Sell it, Genevieve. Move into a condo. Get a cat. Stop pretending you can handle this life." She turned to leave. "I'll give you 48 hours to decide. If you don't sign, my lawyer files on Monday." She left. I stood there, staring at the folder. The room spun. The darkness, which I had held at bay for weeks with sunlight and soil, came rushing back in. She was right. I was broken. I was incompetent. I was just a woman with a scar and a dead husband, playing pretend in a garden. I walked out the back door. Julian was kneeling, measuring the foundation line. Stop, I said. He looked up. Excuse me? Stop working, please. Just stop. Genevieve, what happened? He stood up slowly. It's over. She's right. I can't afford this. I can't do this. I'm going to lose the house. Tears, hot and humiliating, streamed down my face. Please, Julian, just send me the bill and go. Julian looked at me, his face unreadable. He looked at the half-dug trench. He looked at the folder in my hand. I don't leave jobs unfinished, he said quietly. You have to. I'm firing you, I yelled, my voice cracking. Get out. Just leave me alone. I ran back inside, locking the door behind me. I slid down the kitchen cabinets to the floor and wept until my throat was raw. For 2 days, I didn't leave my bedroom. I didn't eat. I didn't answer the phone. The curtains were drawn. I was back in the cave. Vanessa's deadline was approaching, Monday morning. Sunday evening, around dusk, I finally dragged myself downstairs to get water. The house was silent. I walked past the back window. I expected to see the abandoned tools, the half-dug holes, a monument to my failure. Instead, I saw a light. A lantern was hanging from the old maple tree, and under it, a figure was working. My heart skipped a beat. I unlocked the door and stepped out. Julian was there. He was placing stones. He had built the entire foundation of the gazebo. He was on his knees, meticulously fitting a piece of slate into the earth. Julian, I whispered. He didn't look up. Pass me that trowel, would you? I told you to leave. I heard you, he said, tapping the stone into place. But like I said, I don't leave jobs unfinished, and I don't think you do either, Genevieve. She's going to take the house, I said, hugging my arms around myself against the chill. Julian finally stood up. He wiped his hands on his overalls. He walked over to me. Are you crazy? He asked. I don't know. Maybe. I talk to a dead man. I hide from my sister-in-law. That sounds like grief, not insanity, Julian said. And as for the house, possession is 9/10 of the law, but passion is the other 10th. You haven't been fighting for this house, Genevieve. You've been occupying it. There is a difference. He pointed to the ground. Look at this foundation. It's stone, deep stone. It won't move. Storms can come, frost can come, but this stays. You need to find your foundation. I don't have one anymore. Yes, you do, he said sternly. You are the survivor. You lived. That wasn't an accident of fate. It was a mandate. You are still here, so act like it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, crumpled packet of seeds. Moonflowers, he said. They only bloom in the dark. They need the night to show their beauty. Plant them. He pressed the packet into my hand. Something shifted in me. A gear that had been rusted stuck finally turned. The anger I had felt when I first found the notebook returned, but this time it wasn't a spark, it was a fire. She called me a ghost, I said, my voice hardening. Prove her wrong, Julian said. Monday morning, 9 a.m. The silver Mercedes pulled up again. This time, a black sedan followed it. Vanessa and a man in a sharp gray suit got out, the lawyer. I was waiting for them on the front porch. I wasn't wearing my pajamas. I wasn't wearing the gray cardigan. I was wearing a deep crimson dress that Theodore had loved. It showed my arms. It showed the scar on my neck. I wore my hair down, the white line on my temple clearly visible. I didn't care. Vanessa stopped halfway up the walk, surprised by my appearance. Genevieve, she said, clutching her purse, this is Mr. Henderson. We're here for the papers. Hello, Vanessa, Mr. Henderson, I said. My voice was steady, cold. Let's go inside, Vanessa said, reaching for the door. No, I said, we can talk right here. Don't be difficult, it's chilly. I said no. I crossed my arms. I am not signing your papers, Vanessa, and I am not selling this house. The lawyer cleared his throat. Mrs. Sterling, given the circumstances regarding your mental state, it would be advisable to avoid a legal battle. The court will order an evaluation. Let them, I said, locking eyes with him. Let them evaluate me. Do you know what they'll find? They'll find a woman who is grieving, a woman who is depressed, but they will not find a woman who is incompetent. I turned to Vanessa. You want to take this house because you can't stand that he's gone, I said, my voice rising. You want to scrub his memory away, sell his things, close the book because it hurts too much to read it? You think I'm wallowing? I'm remembering, Vanessa. I am honoring him by feeling the pain you are too cowardly to face. Vanessa's face went pale, then red. How dare you? I am trying to save you. You're trying to control me. I stepped forward. Because if you control me, you don't have to deal with your own loss. But you are not taking my home. This is where he lived. This is where he died, in my heart. And this is where I am going to live again. I'll sue you, she hissed. I'll drag your name through the mud. I'm already in the mud, Vanessa, I smiled, a fierce, dangerous smile. I've been digging in it for weeks. I'm not afraid of dirt anymore. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the blue notebook, dried now, but legible. This, I held it up, is Theodore's last wish. A garden, a sanctuary. I am building it. If you try to stop me, I will show this to the judge. I will show them that I am fulfilling his final architectural design. Try explaining to a court why you want to stop a widow from building her husband's memorial. Vanessa stared at the notebook. She recognized it. Her shoulders slumped. The fight drained out of her instantly. He drew that? She whispered. Yes, for me. Vanessa looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in a year. She saw the scar. She saw the fire in my eyes. She saw the crimson dress. She turned to the lawyer. Get in the car, Robert. But, Miss Sterling, I said, get in the car, she snapped. She looked back at me. Her eyes were wet. You really are going to stay here, all alone? I'm not alone, I said. I have the garden. She stood there for a moment, struggling with her pride. Then she gave a stiff nod. Fine, but fix the front hedges, Genevieve. They're a disgrace. I will, I said. Goodbye, Vanessa. She turned and walked away. 6 months later, the air was filled with the scent of lavender and damp wood. I sat in the center of the gazebo. It was finished. The structure was elegant, airy, with curved cedar beams and glass panels that caught the afternoon light. It was exactly as Theodore had drawn it. Julian had finished the stonework last week. We had celebrated with a bottle of wine and a long silence that was comfortable, not heavy. He wasn't just my employee anymore. He was my friend. He had taught me that broken things can be mended, but they will never be the same. And that's okay. Kintsugi, he called it. It wasn't perfect. There were still weeds in the corners, still wild patches, but it was breathing. Julian was at the gate. He was holding a small crate of plants. I found them, he said, a rare smile crinkling his eyes. Found what? The specific rose variety Theodore had listed in the margin of the notebook. Peace roses, yellow with pink edges. I felt a warmth spread through my chest. You found them. Shall we plant them? Yes, I said. Let's put them right by the entrance. We knelt in the dirt together. I dug the hole with my bare hands, feeling the cool, rich earth under my fingernails. It felt grounding. It felt like life. As we packed the soil around the roots, I looked up at the house. It didn't look like a mausoleum anymore. The windows were open, the curtains were blowing in the breeze. It looked like a home. Julian, I said. Thank you for not leaving the job unfinished." He patted the soil down. "We're never really finished, Genevieve. A garden is a verb, not a noun. It's an action. You have to keep showing up." I looked at the sky. It was a brilliant, aching blue. "I know," I said. "I'm ready to show up." I stood up, wiping my hands on my jeans. I took a deep breath, filling my lungs with the scent of roses and wet earth. The static in my head was gone. The rain was just rain. The silence was just peace. I was Genevieve. About erasing the scars or forgetting the past. It is about building something new around the grief. It's about finding a seed of hope in the mud and nurturing it until it blooms. We all have our own overgrown gardens, parts of our lives we have neglected due to pain or fear. But as long as there are roots, there is hope. Dear viewers, thank you for reading this story of loss and restoration. Have you ever had to rebuild your life after a tragedy? What was your garden, the thing that helped you heal? Please subscribe to the channel for more deep, emotional stories like this one. Like this video if Genevieve's strength inspired you, and tell us in the comments, do you think Vanessa was trying to help in her own way, or was she just controlling? How would you have handled her? We read every comment. See you in the next story.